Ergonomics. Effectiveness of screen design. To make an effective screen design, first, because a screen or form represents how a human being will interface with a system, we must consider the first man-to-machine interface. This means we must first understand the intended user, including his or her intelligence level and senses. Someone with greater proficiency in using a computer will have less difficulty in using complicated screens than someone less conversant in devising an elaborate color scheme. If the user may be colorblind, the objective in a good screen design is to make something that is easy to use and effective for collecting data and displaying information.
Appropriate messages to the user. In any interaction design, whether it be a website, piece of hardware, or application, it should always keep the users informed by providing feedback. This can be done with appropriate messages. Appropriate messages include error messages, warning messages, notifications. Error messages inform the user of the software that an unexpected condition occurred. An effective error message informs users of the problem, explains why it happened, and provides a solution to the problem. In contrast to error messages, warning messages alert the user of a condition that might cause a problem further in the future. And notifications. Notifications are used to notify the end user of convenient updates in real time, whether that be a software update needed, news update, weather reports, or simply a game notification telling you to return back to the game. Consistency of the user interface. Consistency with the user interface design is concerned with making sure elements in the user interface are uniform. With each app or software design or website, that user interface should always look the same each time you open up the application and should always behave the same each time. This means that the user interface should always be consistent. The benefits for being consistent with the user interface includes increased usability. When your software is consistent, it makes it both easier for you and the end user to navigate the use of the app. If the user can understand the app and it is easy to use, it doesn't change every time, and you will open it up, the user will want to use the app more often. Another benefit of consistency with UI is its eliminates confusion. When your user interface is consistent, it will eliminate confusion for the end user. By using consistency to create a logical structure and to clearly define whether your users can find what is needed, you will spare yourself confusion and frustrated end users.
Economics backgrounds is essentially the economic background that you have. For example, Bill Gates comes from a rich economic background. Economic backgrounds affects everyone in the world. No matter who you are, you have an economic title attached. Think about how many people in developed countries all bought Grand Theft Auto 5. Rockstar, a software developing company, released their software at what I would say is a premium price. It was around $80 when it was released, but is now roughly around $50. To us, that may not seem as expensive, but to everyone who may not have a job or have parents who want to buy them games or can't actually justify the spending of $50 to $80, this excluded every single one of them. Perhaps Rockstar could have released their game for a lesser price to include all of those in the lower economic background. This is not only applied to games, but to software as well. Blender, a very well-known 3D modeling software. It is free to pick up, it's open source, and anyone with a computer can grab it. There is a subtle economic key, though, if you will, to get into Blender. Although free, Blender can be taxing on your computer hardware, and you may need an expensive computer to run it. Blender's benefit to the home user is it's free. The benefits of Blender being free is that the home enthusiast can fit their 3D modeling appetite without the expensive price tag. Disability is a huge factor in usability and inclusivity of softwares. Companies are constantly slammed for not considering the disabled population, like only having stairs in buildings. In the context of software, McDonald's implemented an ease of access feature in their ordering stations to advocate for those in wheelchairs. If you have never seen the button before, it is at the bottom and essentially just lowers the touchscreen, so if you're too short to reach the top or in a wheelchair, it's much easier to use. Similarly, Apple did something with their phones where you can double tap the home button to lower the screen. And speaking of Apple, Apple's iOS has many features to help people with certain needs, such as their reachability function I just mentioned. They have Siri to help any visually impaired people and the assistive touch to provide more disability-friendly functions to the iPhone operating system.
Cultural background. To ensure software is inclusive of all culture, it is key that software include more popular language to ensure it's provided to a wide audience. This is done by using text-reliant tutorial and art direction. Software which are heavily text-based, when it comes to telling the player what to do, it is much harder to learn how to play as compared to play through tutorial which show how to play the game. Text a huge long help page for the Yati game. I found that hard to read even in a translated version. Instead, I found out how to play Yahtzee and other games by using picture and videos. Software like Work and Photoshop, they use simple for the key feature like saving. Photoshop almost entirely use picture for tools. Gender is a huge factor which must be accounted for in software. Gender can fall under marketing for software to include the right gender. They can be gender neutral, like Photoshop. This is less aimed at male or female and aimed at all. Something like the DS game Cooking Mama is open used for female narrator. This game excludes males who are into cooking as they follow the stereotype of women like cooking. And this is bad.